This episode is dedicated to Cheryl, who is going to be an amazing traveling mama someday. Welcome to Joy and Olives. This is episode 15, and can you believe that we just passed the 1-year anniversary of the Joy and Olives podcast? It's been a while since I've recorded anything, and that's because I've been working on www.joyandolives.com. It's the blog version of my podcast, and I have been doing a lot of writing over the last few weeks. Writing is another really enjoyable way for me to share my stories. So some of the stories that don't make it to the podcast do end up on that website. So feel free to check it out. And without further ado, I want to introduce our amazing guest speaker. After 14 episodes of just me talking, we finally have the woman who has inspired me to really be a world traveler, and that is none other than Auntie Esther, or Mom. Welcome to the show, Mom.
Welcome. Thank you.
Anyways, so in this first installment, my mom and I are going to be talking about our really amazing adventure to Israel this year. And I'm sure some of you have heard the news today that Israel is at war. And my mom and I, of course, we were super grieved by that news, but also so grateful that we were really in Israel at a really peaceful time. And while we were there, people have asked us, did you feel safe? And I think it's one of the safest countries I've ever been to, with some of the friendliest people. I mean, when they know you are a tourist visiting from another country, a lot of people really make make the effort to get to know you. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I was very surprised that they see us Asians, right? They were very welcoming, and in fact invited us to stay in Israel.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is, they are super friendly.
Exactly. So I love traveling with my mom because, first of all, she just has such a spirit of spontaneity. And actually, it was my mom who helped us find the airline that, because I had to come to Israel on a research trip. And I told my mom, okay, Mom, I have a budget to work with. Can you try to help me look for cheap tickets? And my mom said, yeah, sure, no problem. So my mom was like, hey, I found a really good deal with Ethiopia Airlines. And I was like, Mom, are you sure? Like, we've never flown.
They are ranked 17 out of 100 airlines.
I know.
Yeah.
And now I know why, because the service was excellent. But anyways, I'll let my mom share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I do my research, right, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that if you have a connecting flight more than 8 hours, they actually give you a free 5-star hotel accommodation, 2 free meals, and also a free visa to travel, outside the airport. And the visa, I think, costs about US $80. So it's really, check them out. Their service is very good, and the flights, they are really so much cheaper compared to other flights.
So right before landing in Israel, we had about half a day in the capital of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and we did our own exploring there. Ended up making a really awesome friendship with a guy named Mesfin, who invited us out for coffee and got to know a little bit more about the city. And that was such a divine appointment. And what a divine appointment is what I believe to be a God-orchestrated moment in time where he arranges for you to be at the right place at the right time. Usually to meet, someone that will really be a blessing to your life. So we had another divine appointment right after that, because we landed in Israel the next day. And I could not find a cheap SIM card plan at the airport. And it was already late at night. So we had to get to our Airbnb. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I want to try to take public transport. But if I don't have a SIM card, then I don't even have internet. And without internet, I can't use Google Maps. So we met a really nice guy who wrote down all the directions for us to get to our Airbnb. And miraculously, we followed his directions, and it really brought us to the Airbnb, except for the fact that we couldn't find the house unit. And so my mom is so cute. Remember what happened, Mom?
Yeah, so we heard this man. He was in his backyard, right?
Yeah.
He was talking so loudly on the phone, and then we were saying hello, hello, and then
It was like already almost 1 a.m.
yeah. So he came out and said,
No, did he come out?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did.
He came out. Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
came
you're
out.
right.
And then we say, oh yeah, we are looking for this place. So thank God he could speak English. Yeah. So then he directed us to the right place.
Yeah. So again, we met really nice strangers.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you forgot to mention, right? When we were at the airport, there's this Russian.
so that happened the next day. So remember, we went back to the airport because I needed free Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we went back to the airport the next day, and wow, my mom and I had like one of our favorite Israeli foods. It's called sabich.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing sandwich. I'm not going to go into the details here, but if you're ever in Israel, get a sabich sandwich. And as we were just sitting there enjoying the sandwich, this guy, okay, Mom, maybe you can share this part.
He introduced himself as the tourist board. Yeah, so he said, you just need to do a survey for me every day while you're here in Israel. We'll give you a SIM card with 75 gigabytes.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was like, Mom, this is amazing.
God sent.
I'm so glad. This is why you bring your mom on trips, guys. Like, my mom got us this incredible airline deal, and then now, the SIM card was actually given to her by this man who approached her, and we didn't even have to pay anything for it, and it was great. We had great reception the whole time in Israel. Yeah, so I think what we really enjoyed about our trip is how spontaneous, unexpected moments ended up becoming our favorite memories in Israel. So I remember one of the days we didn't have anything planned. We didn't have any tour group to go to, no museum to visit. And I said, okay, Mom, I just want to take you on a walk around the old city of Jerusalem. So as we were walking around the old city, I looked up at the Mount of Olives, and at the very top is a church that I've always wanted to visit because that's supposedly the location where Jesus ascended back into heaven, after he rose from the dead. And so I said, Mom, I didn't go to that church the last time I was in Israel. Would you mind climbing the Mount of Olives with me to get there?
Yeah, so we did. And then
we were exhausted.
Yeah, at the top, right? We saw this Greek Orthodox church.
I think it actually was a Russian Orthodox church.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I think they had a mass going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we went inside, right? Oh, this nun saw me, and I saw her quickly. She went to this chest box, open up the chest box. And then she just dish out one of the skirt, and she just wrap it around me.
Wait, and by the way, guys, I did not see any of this happen because I had just turned around for a quick sec to take photos of the beautiful view outside.
Yeah, and then she okay. So then I'm like, what is this? Then after that, she took out another scarf. It's a mismatch. She just wrapped it around my head.
Yeah.
And
so I turned around and I seriously started laughing so hard because I could not recognize my mom. They like transformed her into a babushka, which is like, you can look up what a babushka is, but I just was like, oh my gosh, like I've never seen my mom with a headscarf and with a floor length skirt on in my life.
At the corner of my eye, I saw another nun. She was sitting there. I mean, she was chuckling away. Yeah, but she has to try to control it because the bishop, right? Or the father,
the priest.
The priest, was, preaching, right? So, she was trying so hard not to laugh. And I was like exasperated, like, oh, what did we get ourselves into this,
Okay, the positive side, though, is that they dressed me up as well, but I did get a matching headscarf and a skirt.
You look so much better. Mine was like, I think she gave me like a green scarf and then an orange skirt. Yeah, and I look so ridiculous.
Yeah. So like 5 minutes into Mass, I say, Mom, I'm so sorry. We need to leave because when I see you, I'm like, I cannot even focus on what's happening right now. So we ended up walking out and we were really, really thirsty and we ended up in like an Arab village and, we were so touched because I had no cash on me. And
they don't accept credit card too.
Yeah, and this man who could speak some English, he owned an ice cream shop, and he actually gave us not only one bottle of iced water, but he gave us two, and he said just take it for free, and I thought that was really sweet.
But I think in Israel, right, what I enjoyed the most was the Sea of Galilee, the boat trip. That was when your good friends, Fanny and Tony, they are this couple from Vietnam. So they migrated to Israel.
And they can speak fluent Hebrew now.
Yeah, Hebrew and Greek.
And Chinese.
And Cantonese and English more than 40 years ago. Anyway, when we have time next time, we can share about that story. But this couple is amazing. They are really ultra friendly, and they took us on this boat trip. We were very blessed to be with this group of tourists from America.
And that wasn't planned as well. And it was like, it's nice. We haven't been back to the U.S. for about 3 years. So seeing fellow Americans, it just like made our day.
Yeah, I was even surprised when they play they raised the American flag.
And then the Israeli ship captain. Ship captain, to pay respect to the American tourists, raise the American flag, and it was a really moving moment.
Yeah, it was really moving. And then they played the worship song, The Goodness of God.
By Bethel.
Yeah, that
was really... man. If you guys can, listen to that song, Goodness of God, and imagine that you're on the Sea of Galilee in a boat, and, you imagine yourself as one of Jesus's disciples who just experienced a storm, and Jesus hushes that storm to a whisper. And it just reminds you of all the storms that we go through in life. And yet Jesus is always there. He's going to be faithful to you. And it kind of reminds me of, I think, our last story that we'll share. My mom and I actually took a quick, we went to Europe for a few days, and then we came back to Israel.
But you didn't mention about the St. Peter's fish.
Yes. My mom wants to highly recommend St. Peter's fish. You have to at least try it. And we had it at a Lebanese Israeli restaurant at the northern part of the Sea of Galilee. It was amazing.
Fanny and her husband Tony took us to this very fancy restaurant. Wow. The food is so fresh, and we got to taste fresh figs too.
Fresh dates. Fresh dates from the land of Israel. Wow, you have to try it. It's so different from the dried date, and the owners knew our friends, and so they just kept piling so much food, and that's all about Middle Eastern hospitality, and I love it. I really, really miss that.
Yeah, the food is really very good.
Yeah.
Enjoy it too. Yeah.
So we went to Europe for a few days. We came back to Israel and we stayed at a hostel right by the Sea of Galilee again. But this time we were in a room with 2 other women because it was a four person roomed hostel. And we got there at 3 a.m. because our flight was late. And, we had to take a bus in from Tel Aviv to northern Israel. But I must say that the public transport system in Israel is excellent. You can actually get around very easily on your own. And we really appreciated that, but it was a bit of a far journey. So we get to this hostel at 3 a.m.
Oh, you didn't mention the train. I think they also allow you to bring food and beverages.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also charge your phone.
Yeah. And that's so different because in Singapore, you can't eat on the trains. There's no charging. But yeah, you could do all of that in Israel. It's great. So we get to the hostel and the security guard had waited, and kept up just so that he could unlock the door for us when we got in. And, his name is Boaz. And the funny joke about that is that, Boaz is the name of a very chivalrous and, eligible bachelor in the Bible. And all my friends were like, Jasmine, when you go to Israel, like, I think you're going to meet your Boaz. And when I came back, I said, yes, I did meet a Boaz. He was a security guard in his 40s that was actually kind of cranky when he had to open the door for us. Okay, but anyways, besides the point, when we walked into the hostel, I just thought, oh no, I am so sorry, Mom, for putting you through this. We started off our trip at a nice 5-star hotel that my mom arranged, and then we ended the trip with this hostel that I booked, and it was small and cramped, and then we had to share this room, and so we were so scared of waking up the other girls, and I was like, okay, Mom, maybe tomorrow we need to get out. We need to find a new place quick. But I'm so glad my mom is such an open person, and actually I think she struck a conversation with the Canadian woman that was in the bunk bed right below mine, and they ended up hitting it off.
Yeah. Anne is very animated, and she also shares very useful tips with us. But what I was so shocked to learn that she only brought 2 sets of outfits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 sets. So she wear one outfit today. The other outfit, she will wash it and let it dry.
And she lives on 20 euros a week just so that she could backpack through a lot of Israel without spending that much. And I was like, oh, Mom, we actually have it pretty good. Yeah. So anyways, I'm just so grateful to my mom for being so open. And hey, if you're thinking about a trip and you're thinking about inviting your mom with you, I highly recommend it because, there are so many things that I would not have experienced if my mom was not with me. And I think we just we learned to laugh at all these really hilarious, unexpected moments. So that's part 1. And Mom, may I ask you for the biggest favor?
Sure.
Could you come on the show again next episode where we'll do part 2 on our trip in Korea?
Okay. All right. See you guys next time.
Great. Alrighty. Thanks, Mom. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. I will be back very soon.